Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Kalpesh Patel. I'll be your host on tonight's Nuts and Bolts, and hopefully we'll share a few nuggets that are exactly what you need to hear today and that make the difference that you were looking for in your business so that you can go out and start piecing your empire together or expanding the empire that you've already put together and accelerating the speed with which you have a bigger reach worldwide. So thank you so much for joining us. Super excited to have you here as always. Let me just have a quick scan. We've got lots of videos on. Congratulations to the people with your videos on. Lots of videos on. I'm in. I do often like to do this because it just reminds me how pretty our community is. We've got a pretty community all over the world, right? We are one sexy community, man. We kick butt when it comes in that department. So well done. And do you know what makes a sexy community? Smiles. That's all it is, man. When you can go from here to ear, boom, everything changes. And that's something that's really special for our community that we have all the time. I love what was being discussed on that recording previous to getting started, turning a downward trend up. What a concept, right? What a phenomenal concept. The natural tendency for most humans is to focus on the negative. How apt was that, right? I never know what's going to come up on these things, but the natural tendency is to focus on the negative, and leadership is shifting that focus. Wow, that's interesting. Turning that focus around, shifting it from a natural downward trend to an unnatural upward trend. So literally, it's like, the good and evil battle, isn't it? Like that good evil battle. Everyone can be naughty. Everyone can make the naughty decision. Everyone, the pull to have the cake when you know it's not good for you is always there. And then how do you overcome that trend? How do you overcome that pull and make a better choice? Not easy to do. Trust me, I have the sweetest tooth on planet Earth for sure, right? I'm dessert king. And anyone that knows me knows that. And a couple of months ago, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It was a reality check, a shock to the system. And I've deleted dessert from my itinerary, from my thinking, from my vision, even my view. Like when I look at menu now, I don't even look at the desserts, right? Because I know that if I start looking at them, it doesn't take me long to start salivating. And when I'm salivating, my decision-making capabilities weaken. It's like kryptonite. I got kryptonite, look at the dessert menu. And then look at what you can have versus what you can't have. Focus on what's good. So I know salads are good. So the first thing I do is I look at what salads are on offer. What salads can I take today? And then, what else can I add to that that's not carb based? And the process, just shifting your focus, shifting your processing mechanism. And we can all do that, right? And so the same in business. It's very easy to focus on when somebody says no and take it personally. And what do we call it? Rejection. I don't like being rejected. You weren't rejected. You actually weren't rejected. But the natural pull is to think like that, like it's personal, like they said no to you. No, they just turned down what you shared with them. So, making that separation, they just turned down what you shared. Everyone does not have to take on everything you share. That would be an absurd world, wouldn't it? Imagine if you took on everything that somebody shared with you. That would be absurd. It would be weird if everyone said yes to everything. So it's cool, but it's not personal. Separate the two. Just like when an air hostess comes by and says, would you like some tea or coffee? And you said, no, I'm good. The air hostess doesn't have a breakdown in the middle of the airplane, does she or he? They don't suddenly collapse to the floor. Going, oh my God, I offered you tea or coffee and you said no. No, they don't do all of that drama. They just move to the next person, go, thank you. Would you like some tea or coffee? Yep. Oh, cool. There you go. There's a customer. Let's serve the one that wants it. So again, shifting the focus so that you're not caught up in the natural negative pull, the natural downward force that takes people out the game. Imagine somebody shows you an opportunity. A window opens up. You find yourself working against that natural negative force. The same natural negative force that everyone is faced with and challenged with, right? And your natural negative force, depending on your life circumstances, could be anything ranging from some of the most common negative forces like I haven't got $400 spare. It's too expensive. I can't afford that. Or it could be, it's a great opportunity, but when am I going to find time to plug in and play? You keep saying you got to plug in and play to succeed. I'm too busy. I don't have time to do all of that. These are natural negative or downward pulls. Or it might be something like, because you've heard something in the past, or because your aunt's best friend's grandmother did something in 1943 that didn't work. And so your natural negative pull is, oh no, that looks a bit risky. I can't do that. It looks like one of those things. Some of you may have even had the negative pull of labeling one of those things. Oh, that's a Ponzi, isn't it? So there's all sorts of natural negative pulls that are already embedded in most people's psyche. You overcame that. Somebody invited you to a presentation. Guess what? They were just as nervous as you might be when inviting you. And they would have got a bunch of no's before you said yes to come along. Imagine. So whoever invited you had to overcome all of the things that you got to overcome. This is how this thing works, right? And then your friend got really excited when you said yes. It made up for all of the no's they heard before you. That one yes turns it all around for us, right? Suddenly we feel great. We feel like we've got a victory. We won. You remember your first yes, right? Nobody forgets their first yes. And all of a sudden there's hope. Suddenly there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like, wow, 7 no's on a yes. If I go for 7 more and I get another yes, I've doubled my organization. I'm in. I can play with those odds. And then you have your odds, whatever they are, right? You have your numbers. Everyone has different numbers. And you go through that pull of pushing your numbers in a positive direction. Your upline says, oh, I spoke to 3 and I got my first yes. And your natural negative pull says, why did I have to speak to 12 before I got mine? Is there something wrong with me? No, nothing wrong with you. They're just your numbers. It's not personal. It's just a measure. Your numbers are different to the numbers of your upline, your team members, your crossline, everybody. Everybody's numbers are different. Just understand that. You don't need to judge yourself for your numbers. All you need to do is improve your numbers. How do you turn them in another direction? If you had to speak to 27 before getting 1 yes, how can you condense that down to speaking to 20 the next time to get a yes, and then 15, and then play the, imagine if I could get 10 and get a yes out of the next 10 that I speak to. And the game you're playing is always, how do I improve the numbers I've got? Not, oh my God, why have I got those numbers? Oh my God, why have I got those numbers? Doesn't change anything. Can you see that? It just keeps them alive for you. If anything, you might make them worse by focusing on how your numbers are different to the people that are more effective than you, because you then start talking yourself down. You weaken yourself. You empower your kryptonite. So find your kryptonite and find the solution to your kryptonite. We've all got it. Everyone has their own kryptonite, where something happens and you take it personal and you start using that as a self-destruct conversation with yourself. Much of this stems from our childhood, right? I'm not good enough. I'm not deserving. I'm alone. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. All of that nonsense that we carry around like a big Santa sack on our shoulders for our whole life. You've got to start letting go of some of that stuff, right? If you're going to succeed. If you're going to succeed, to increase the odds of success, start letting go of the conversations you have about yourself and with yourself, and sometimes with others. Some people actually talk to others about how horrible they are and how rubbish they are and how useless they are and how unworthy they are and how uninfluential they are. Some people actually go out in the world and keep it so alive that not only it's not good enough to say it to yourself, you have to tell others how rubbish you are. Goodness, stop that stuff. All right. Stop spreading bad rumors about yourself. If you're going to turn it around, if you want to lead yourself into a better direction, right? So every human being has their own journey. Network marketing identifies our kryptonite very quickly for us. Most people go through their whole life avoiding these conversations, never having to face up to them, and they wing it to the end, right? They wing it to the end. But here in network marketing, why I love this industry so much is it literally puts a mirror up to your face and says, okay, there you go, deal with this. Deal with this part of yourself. Strengthen this part of yourself. It allows you to identify where you hide out, where you play small, where you hide under a rock, where you avoid your greatness, where you avoid your power. Network marketing allows you to know where you can improve. How about that? I love it. but only if you can shift your focus in that direction. Come at this with the mindset of, I'm going to learn to win. I'm going to learn to lead. I'm going to learn to grow, versus what the natural downward pull might be. All right. So identify where you go down in your language, where the tempo, the vibration, the frequency of your self-talk is going in the wrong direction, right? A negative spiral. So, and it does show up outside of network marketing as well, but we just relate to it as flippant language. Have you ever done something like, I don't know, missed a turn on a roundabout somewhere and then cursed yourself? Oh, you stupid idiot. Why did you do that? Right? No, you're not a stupid idiot. You just did that. Separate the two. You don't need to say, oh, you stupid idiot. Why did you do that? You could just say, why did you do that? Pay attention to sat nav, or pay attention to the roads, shifting the focus, right? You don't have to add that little bit ahead of time or even afterwards that demeans yourself, reduces yourself, minimizes you. So learn to start maximizing you, right? Like take a wrong turn and go, you're a legend, man. How do you do that? How do you take the wrong turn when sat nav said turn right and you turned left? Legend. Now listen, as much of a legend as you are, let's not do too much of that, because time is valuable and you want to be efficient with your time and you want to get where you want to get to, quicker rather than slower. But, let's just pay a bit more attention, legend. There you go. Acknowledge yourself as a legend anyway, because guess what? Legends make mistakes too. Legends take wrong turns too. It's cool. Leaders take wrong turns too. It's all great. Everything's perfect. You don't need to trash yourself. And we do it all the time. Some of us blurt it out loud, others say it quietly in our head. We knock ourselves. We also knock others, don't we, in our head? I often talk about personality types, right? And then I talk about what we call a yellow personality type, which is the softly, softly, gently, gently. And I say sometimes these are the most lethal people on the planet, because you've got no idea how much they're destroying you in their head. At least with a red personality, they'll tell you how rubbish they think you are. And you can deal with that face-to-face head-on in a clash. You can have a verbal clash of the titans and resolve it. But with that softly, softly personality that smiles to your face, comes across as all, oh, and in their head, they're just destroying you. You've got no clue. And they've just trashed you. Destruction at the highest level. Watch what goes on in here, guys and girls. Do you destroy people? Maybe because they wore something you wouldn't wear, or they eat something that you wouldn't eat. Do you see what I'm saying? We do it on the most minuscule of things. They look a way that you wouldn't want to look. They dress a way that you wouldn't want to dress. The number of people, I don't know how many will say it in their minds, but in I like bright colored clothes, right? I love colorful clothing. So my wardrobe is full of colors and I mix and match however I please. I don't follow, if you like, what norms are. I just wear whatever I feel like wearing that looks and makes me feel great. And the number of times we go, you can't wear brown and black together, Cal. So as well, apparently you can, because I am. I don't understand what you're talking about. I just did it. Nothing happened to me. I'm still here. What are you talking about? Do you see? But they're just people that tell me you can't wear black and brown together. How many people don't tell me they don't have the guts or the balls to say something stupid like that? At least these ones say it right, and then I can identify how stupid they are. But my point is, you can wear what you like, can't you? Can't you? Right? You can mix and match whatever colors you like. Who says you can't wear black and brown together? Said who? When? Why? Maybe some fashion guru. Well, they were a guru for a brand or a certain era or whatever they were doing, but they're not my fashion guru, obviously, right? So, just watch out for that. Watch out for what goes on in here that's destructive, that takes away, that's righteous, that's thinking it's better than, all right? Because in my world, the only reason that you think somebody can't do something is because you don't do it. And since when did the world have to run by your rules? I didn't ask you to wear black and brown. If you don't want to, fine. That's your choice too, right? If you don't want to wear black and brown because you think they clash, don't wear it. I didn't ask you to do what I do. But why do you need to get involved in, if I want to wear black and brown, you don't need to get involved in that, right? If I want to put a little bolt through my nose, none of your business, is it? Surely. Do you see what I'm saying? Some people get upset about that. being Indian culturally, that's a massive no-no, right? Like huge. I remember this one time, it was hilarious. My uncle, bless him, loved him to bits. After my dad had passed away, this was a couple of years down the line. You know, I've always been very colorful with my dress sense, like kind of just lovely pastel colors and stuff like just, you know, anything that makes me feel brighter inside. I kind of wear it on my outside, right? And then I've got my nose pierced just because it was one of those things that I just was curious and fascinated by. And I know it's not for everybody, it was for me. But anyway, my uncle comes to me one day at a wedding, says, "Cal, should we go for a walk? It's been a while since we spoke." I said, "Yeah, sure, let's do that." And we went for a walk around the grounds at the wedding. And he put his hands over my shoulder and said, "Kalpesh, you know what? The whole family really respects you and what you've done with your life and the direction you've taken. It's really amazing, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Look, you know what? Just, you know, your father's not around, but I want you to know that I'm here for you." And I thought, wow, what a beautiful conversation to have, right? It's my dad's cousin. And I knew he was there for me anyway, right? Because again, you know, many of you know, we're very close to family anyway. So I knew he was there for me. But the fact that he wanted to have that conversation with me was really beautiful in itself. And he said, "Look, if there's anything you want to talk about ever, you can talk to me." I said, "Cool, thank you so much. Really kind of you to say so." And he said, "Look," and you know, and he got a bit uncomfortable. I'm like, "Okay, you know when you can feel the uncomfortableness." I was like, "What's going on here?" He goes, "And if you want to talk about anything at all," I was like, "Yeah, cool, thank you, I got it, and I really appreciate it." And he goes, like, and in the Indian culture, I think I must have been in my 30s. If you're not married in your 20s, then something's already like amiss. So you know, not being married in your 30s was not like the normal thing. He goes, "Listen, and you know, I'm all right with everything. Like, you know, if you like guys, you can talk to me about that too." And I went, "Oh, okay." And just because I had my nose pierced and my ears done like way before that, but over time in his head, he's made up this picture that Kalpesh is single. He's got his ears pierced, then he gets his nose pierced. He dresses very brightly. That, you know, maybe he's trying to say something but not able to say it. Bless him. I was like, "Look, no, it's not that. And if it was, I'll feel comfortable to express it to you. Thank you for giving me the space to express that as well. But no, I'm just single because I want to be single right now. I'm focused on my business. I'm focused on my future and what I'm building, and I've got a plan. And you know, settling down isn't part of that plan for me. And so, thank you for your concern. But no, it's not even that. But if it was, I would happily talk to you about it. And thanks for giving me the space to do that." But here's my point. Isn't it amazing how many stories we make up in our head? That's my point. Like, he was bold enough, open enough, courageous enough, and comfortable enough to put his arms around my shoulder and have that conversation with me, which is a beautiful thing. But in my head, I'm thinking, how many people haven't got the courage, but having that kind of conversation in their head, right? Like, how many times are we judging people based on our own view? No other view other than our own, right? And our own view is very limited, right? So I'm always saying, like, in this beautiful business, we get to learn about ourselves. What are you saying about yourself that stops you from growing, developing, creating, being the master of your destiny? And what are you saying about others? Like, this is so powerful. What are you saying about others? Because it's not what you say physically. If you're thinking it, the universe already knows it. The energy has already been emitted. People feel it. We've all been through this space, right? We've all felt, and we say it all the time, don't we? "I don't feel right about them. Something doesn't feel right about this." It's not what they're saying. It's something in your gut. Something doesn't feel right. What are you saying about somebody else that they might get the energy or the frequency, the emission, that they go, "Something doesn't feel right about this." And they walk away from a phenomenal opportunity because your self-talk was reaching them loud and clear. I can't remember which poet said it, but I remember hearing it through Deepak Chopra. And he talked about a poet. Who was it? I can't remember the name now. But he talked about a beautiful little phrase. Years ago, I heard this. I was like, wow. You speak. No, hold on. And it's almost the opposite. You speak so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying. No, who you are speaks so loud. That's it. Who you are speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you are saying. Think about that for a second. Who you are speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you're saying, meaning your words make no difference. Your words make no difference. What you're saying is not landing, because who you are when you're saying it isn't equaling the words. So you can talk about caring about somebody. It makes no difference because you're not caring about them and they know it. You don't care about them. They know it. It's just words. You can say the right words, but who you are shows up way more than the words you use. So you can show a fantastic presentation to somebody, but who you are showing them will drown out the beauty of the presentation if you're doing all of that judgment. If your mind is running overtime with opinions and thoughts that are negative about the person that you're sat with. Can you see this stuff? Learning to let go of this stuff is so powerful. Let go of your thoughts, your opinions, your judgments about others. Let go of the limits that you place on others. Let them thrive. Learn to see the best in others. Imagine that's the frequency that then starts to radiate naturally. It's the opposite of the norm. You're going against the natural negative pull. The natural thing humans do is compare ourselves to others. And then in order to make ourselves feel better, we destroy others. It's a nonsense. An unaware mind is the most useless mind on the planet. You're comparing yourself to others to make yourself feel better. You destroy them. What a rubbish way of working life out. Can you see? Imagine if you didn't have to destroy them and you could just find your own self-worth in yourself rather than in comparison. Don't compare yourself to anybody. You're unique. You're 1 out of 8 billion. You're 1 in 8 billion odd. Be that. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Own it. Let go of all the noise. This business accelerates at a phenomenal speed when you let go of your own nonsense and your noise and you allow yourself to be great, allow others to be great, accommodate everybody, love them freely, and give them the room to grow and thrive in the way that they choose to grow and thrive. It doesn't have to be by your rules. I was on a WhatsApp group earlier today, and I always am mindful of what I communicate or where I communicate. Anyway, one of my very strongest leaders in one group wrote a very strong-worded and offensive message to somebody else that shared something that was inappropriate. Bless them. So somebody just hit a very high rank and they treated themselves to a nice car. And in the photograph of them next to their car, they had, in the number plate of the car, they put hyperverse, which of course is not compliant. We know that. Only the leader in the group, the way that it was handled was horrific. Whose picture is this? Who is this person? The leader who sponsored them should be punished, penalized, and whoever's put this picture out, we need to get hold of them straight away and have a conversation. Give me their number immediately. Whichever leader knows this person, identify them, send me their number. Really aggressive, kind of horrible, nasty energy message, like so righteous. The leader should be punished as well because they're not teaching their people not to do this. It's non-compliant. And I'm sitting there going, what the hell is all this? Some bloke, bless him, has just achieved a rank. He's celebrating. And there's an oversight. In my world, it's simple. It's an oversight. Chances are he does know he's not supposed to have hyperverse on marketing material. And it wasn't marketing material. He shared a picture of his car and him in a WhatsApp group with his people, with his tribe. Wasn't sharing it on social media anywhere. Wasn't in public. Wasn't doing any of that. But even if he was, so what? You don't need to smash him up to smithereens. A message along the lines of, hey, it's non-compliant to have hyperverse written on the number plate of a car. Can somebody please get in touch with this beautiful gentleman, congratulate him on his massive achievement, on his huge rank advancement, and let him know that he needs to blur out that number plate or put something else on there. Done. Same outcome, different mindset. Can you see that? How are we overreacting in life oftentimes? Where are we shouting when shouting doesn't need to be used? Where are we getting angry with people when anger doesn't need to be used? I'm not saying none of these emotions should ever be used. Of course not. They're there for a reason. There's a time and a place for all things. But 99% of the time, we are misusing most of these emotions in way out of context scenarios based on our very small view of the world. Our business really becomes a reflection. The higher the ranks you climb, the more opportunities you have to show up better. Because the more people you're working with, the bigger your team, the more adaptable you got to become, the more flexible you got to become. Because if you don't, you'll end up being like that leader, and you're not going to gain many brownie points in terms of, you know, people saying, is that your inspiration of what a leader shows up like? I doubt very much most people will vote for leadership skills that are draconian and Neanderthalic, and very much doubt in network marketing, which is all about freedom and self-empowerment, that style of leadership is going to go down too well, right? And there will be fans of that as well. I know that particular person has got their fans. There are people that go, yeah, they say it how it is. And I'm like, maybe they say it how they think it is, not how it actually is, right? So I love talking about that concept, actually, and I'll just touch on that as well. Some of you know that, you know, I've spent many of my years in the world of personal development, self-awareness, and you know, learning and growing about myself. I've literally done all the courses I could find in my earlier years. One of the companies that I still hold a lot of respect for, to a point, certainly, is Landmark Education. If any of you have heard of it, you know, it's an amazing technology, really great teacher of understanding ourselves, right? Now, it gets a little bit messy at the top end. I got to the top end in terms of, you know, leading seminars for them and stuff. And I was freaked out a little bit when they said I couldn't learn from any other people if I wanted to continue delivering their seminars. And I was like, huh? I'm like, how does that work? I was going to a Tony Robbins weekend. They said, you can't go to Tony Robbins. You're a landmark speaker. And I went, I can go to Tony Robbins. Actually, watch, I'm going to go. It's on this weekend and I'm going. And they said, well, then you can't do this anymore. So, well, that's your choice, not mine. I'd rather do both. The reason I'm one of the most effective leaders you've got is because I learned from so many different places. And I spoke to their leaders and everything. They just couldn't get it. It wasn't in their realm. And at that point, unfortunately, I'll still say this to this date, unfortunately, after 5-6 great years with them, I had to leave because they couldn't accommodate my greatness anymore. And so they had to miss out on my greatness over there because I was committed to playing on a much bigger pitch, if you like, on a much broader scale. So that was, again, you know, it's eye-opening sometimes. The best technology on the planet, and the people that deliver the technology are limited with their own views as well. But in that technology, one of the things that I loved that they talk about and teach was, before I went off on a tangent, what was I going to say? What was relevant at that point? There was something relevant at that point. I was going to make a point. There you go. I do go off at a tangent myself sometimes. If it comes back, I'll bring it back. So, you know, focusing on your awareness is, for me, your number one priority. If you're committed to being a leader in this space, then it starts with you. Start improving your language around yourself. Then improve your language around your immediate loved ones, your family, your friends. And then start improving your language in society. All right, ripple it out in society. Be kind to your neighbors, unnecessarily kind. All right, not be kind to your neighbors that are kind to you. I'm just saying be kind to your neighbors, full stop, just because you can. Because once you become aware, you can do whatever you want to do. When you're not aware, you can't do whatever you want to do. You have very little power. I often say you have no power when you're not aware. People that are not aware have zero power. They are purely reactions to life. Have a little think of that one. People that are not aware are purely reactions to life. Something happens, they have a knee-jerk reaction. Pre-built, pre-worked out, pre-experienced, reliving the same thing over and over and over again. All right? So if you're not aware, that's all that happens. There are people that are 50 years old that still scream and shout in their car on the road when somebody cuts them up. It's absurd that after 50 years of living on planet Earth, you haven't worked out how to press pause and not do all that nonsense just because somebody in front of you does something that you didn't like, right? But that's how people are. They get angry, they shout, they scream, they go up and down, they get red in the face, they jump out of their car, they're ready to get into a fight. Why? Because somebody turned you know, without indicating. What? Like, really? Yep. People spend their whole life like that. Awareness is the biggest gift you'll give yourself. Self-awareness makes your life better, and it makes the life of everyone around you better, even the people that cut you up in traffic. All is good. Their life is improved because you're a better human being. How about that? So your business improves when you're a better human being. People will sign up with you because of who you are, not because of what you showed them. Who you are speaks so loudly, they cannot hear your words. That can be a positive thing as well as a negative thing. Who you are speaks so loudly. When you show up as a legend, guess what? They want to do business with you just for the sake of doing business with you. It doesn't matter what you're doing. They just want to be in your space and do what you're doing and hang around and be a part of your vibe. That's how easy this can be. It can be that easy, that lighthearted. I just popped out with my brother earlier on today and a couple of cousins. We went to a shop. We bought something. What was it? I can't remember. Bought a couple of bits and pieces. And my brother said to the sales assistant, classic textbook conversation. Young guy, dynamic guy, energetic guy. And he said, oh, how long have you been working here then? The guy goes, 3 years. He goes, oh, excellent. Do you enjoy your job? And the guy obviously did. He was like really sprightly and energetic. He said, yeah, I do. I love it. He said, great. He said, listen, I just love your energy. I love your energy and I want to repay the favor. You've served us really well. He goes, he goes, and being a young guy, again, always kind of is relevance, right? Is a big one, being aware. Chances are they know about crypto. So my brother said, do you know much about cryptocurrency? And a big grin came on his face. He said, funny enough, yeah, he goes, I've been buying Bitcoin every day for the last 3 years. He bought his first Bitcoin. So he was, how old was he? 19. He bought his first bit of Bitcoin at the peak in 2017. So 5 years ago, which means he would have been 14. Imagine this, guys and girls. He bought, and this is the thing that I loved when he was just sharing his story, because his first thing he said, I buy a little bit of Bitcoin every single day. And he said, I bought it. I said, when did you get in? He goes, oh, when it was at the peak in 2017 and it crashed straight after I bought it. And I said, but you said you buy it every day. He goes, yeah, I'm dollar cost averaging. I'm thinking, mate, you know more than 99% of the planet. Like, wow, you bought it at a peak, the price crashed and you didn't get negged out. You didn't get blown out. You didn't get thrown off track. And he said, no, because I understand Bitcoin is a long-term game. So he said, it doesn't really matter what happens now. I just know that if I just keep collecting a little bit every day, then over time, it'll work itself out. And I'm like, that's awareness. And of course, my brother got his number and we're going to show him Hyper. We told him a little bit about what we do and he got excited at the basics and we're going to bring him to a Zoom. Can you see how easy this can be? Just be open. Be open to anyone you're speaking to. Will get what you're up to. It's cool. Have conversations comfortably. So I think I've gone over a bit, haven't I? I'll keep doing this. I do get a bit excited sometimes. Let me get back in the room, give you guys a chance to just share your learnings, share what you're picking up, what's shifting for you. George,